Now we're going to talk about preparing to write your personal mission statement. Another quote by Covey from this document, How to Develop a Personal Mission Statement. He says, when you prepare your own mission statement, you need to ask the deeper questions. What are your unique gifts? Listen to those who see the potential in you. Study the lives of people who inspired you, your heroes, and what it is that you admire about these heroes, so you can get a sense of the principles on which you want to build. You want to write a mission statement that is timeless, but you want to write it as if it will never change. You want to act upon it by exercising your independent will to live by it. That is the ultimate source of your integrity, and your integrity is the true source of your power. Other questions that you might ask yourself in order to ask the deeper questions and prepare to write your personal mission statement might be like this. Which title or titles in my life are the most unchanging? How do I want to be remembered? What difference would I like to have made in the lives of others? What challenges have I overcome that make me uniquely able to help others? How can I use that uniqueness? How can I embrace it and exploit it in the service of others? What's the one thing I could accomplish in my job right now to contribute to the good of others that if I don't, likely nobody else will, in a way that would really make a difference for those that come after me and make the sacrifices of those who came before me worth the cost to be worthy of their sacrifice as well? What struggles do I now have in my life that I like to become a strength and blessing to me, and use those future lessons to help ease the burdens of others and to show them a better way? There are several additional ways to prepare for writing mission statement, but the important part about this preparation phase is getting deep with questions and pondering in a way that helps connect you to the things that matter most. Other suggestions when preparing to write your personal mission statement might be reflecting or pondering on your life experience, so you could think back to the things that you've gone through and consider what you've learned from them. Consider how you can incorporate those things into what you are currently doing and into your long-term mission statement. Also, you can reflect on the strengths and weaknesses that you have, how they've actually impacted your life for good. Consider how you can leverage your strengths to achieve your goals, and how you can work on improving your weaknesses so that you can then make them strengths and then teach others how to do the same. You can also identify how your values align to true principles. So think about those values. What's most important to you? Honesty, integrity, compassion, what is it? You can also look for feedback from others, as Covey mentioned. Ask friends, family members, mentors that have had an impact on you. Ask them for their input. The process of writing a mission statement is highly personal. There is no one-size-fits-all approach, and make sure that you take time to explore different methods. Do the thing that is most fun and enjoyable to you within this framework. Don't force yourself to do something that is uncomfortable, but rather find a way to do the uncomfortable thing of thinking into the future, if you're not good at that, by doing it in a way that is enjoyable and fun. That's how you prepare to write your personal mission statement. Now let's talk about the first draft of your mission statement. Guys, you're lucky to have this type of tactical training, because we freaking never had this stuff. We had to come up with it. So first draft of your mission statement. These are some suggestions for getting started. The first thing that you could do, just free write. So get started. There's a couple things that keep people back from starting. And the first one is perfectionism. If you're anything like really any high achiever, I think there's always some perfectionistic flaws. Most people, and this is super common, when they hear that this mission statement has to be written as if it will never change, that's very daunting. It's like you're setting something in stone and you can't go back and change it. And I know it will change and evolve, but that's the purpose, is to write it as if it won't change. That's a little overwhelming. So they think that it has to be perfect almost, right? And that keeps people from getting started. The solution to this is the best thing that you could do, really, is just start writing and start imagining your role. Start thinking about the things that you care about most. But it's helpful to get outside of yourself and almost have like a derivative of the perfect thought. What we mean with that is, think about if it weren't perfect and you just had to play around in the sandbox, so to speak, what would you value most? What would you want your future vision to look like? The rough draft is itself a rough draft, so just get started. Eventually it will get to the point where you work in it and iterate in it, but do not worry about making it perfect right away. And that brings us to the second thing that people struggle with when starting to free write or begin with their mission statement. It's the gap, okay? It's the hesitancy of getting started because you imagine your future ideal. Your brain wants to bring you back down to where you are now, and that gap is exposed. This discrepancy is tough because your brain doesn't like it. It's threatening to the current comfort and routines that you're experiencing, okay? So the solution to bridge this gap, as we've mentioned previously, is just start jotting down ideas of what you might imagine that you could potentially be in the future. Your idea, no pressure or pretenses, no commitments, just like a what if type scenario. You can go back to where we talked about the process of the first creation, where usually it starts with that, the impulses of thought that lead to fantasizing about something. And you could do that, just like play around with like, what if? The first free writing method you could try is called stream of consciousness. And basically what this means is you set a timer for 10 minutes and you write down whatever comes to mind without stopping or editing or worrying about whether it's perfect, right? So don't worry about grammar, you don't worry about spelling, you just let your thoughts flow with a timer. Second thing you could do with free writing is make a list of all the things that are important to you or all the things that you want to accomplish in life, and just start writing them down frantically in a bullet point list type fashion. And this list serves as kind of a starting point for your mission statement. And you can go back to the things that we've done with like the statement of definite purpose, that whole type of idea where you can do that for multiple days in a row, where you just write out a list, blank sheet, write out another list, blank sheet, and then you start to find the commonalities. And again, it's focused on vision for the future, the values that'll get you there. The other free writing method that people like is called mind mapping. You can just draw a diagram. This is a way to get your thoughts on paper and start to branch them and piece them together. Many people who are creative in this sense visually, they like to make their notes look like that with arrows and lines and diagrams everywhere. This is a good way to help you explore your goals and your values. And it doesn't box you into kind of a linear thinking of writing. The fourth way, as we mentioned previously, is called letter writing. You can write a letter to yourself. This is really cool, a future pacing exercise, or to someone that you really admire, and you can outline your goals and aspirations to that person. Use this letter as a way to like really clarify your thoughts and ideas. So think for a bit, then write out the audacious goals that would be most meaningful to you. And then, iterate every day. You can erase it, not erase it, take pictures of it, whatever. This is a great way to brainstorm. This last one is super cool. It's called quote riffing. And basically what you do is you get inspired by quotes that you really love. So you just jot these quotes down, things that like really get you going and incite the emotional energy within you. Start thinking about why you like them, and then just iterate on them. You could continue writing, what would this person keep saying? Something along those lines. The quote riffing idea lets you begin with the free writing in a way that is leveraging other people's ideas to inspire you. Very helpful. It unlocks your creative potential within this. The most important thing in this free writing realm is to not box yourself into anything perfectionistic or rigid. Just be okay with mistakes. Just write and let yourself get inspired. Another helpful tool is planning a retreat, either for yourself or with someone else that you're writing your mission statement with. This is a way to really break free from your daily routine and kickstart something in a different setting to either continue iterating on your mission statement or write it in your first draft for the first time. So how this works, you go somewhere really cool, you can let your mind be free and at ease in a unique environment. So by taking some time to focus on yourself and your goals, or whoever you're doing this retreat with, you can totally get clarity on what's most important to you and have your brain, your mind, and your heart start focusing on the things that matter most in your life. Some helpful advice: think about going somewhere that just completely inspires you. Whatever you pick, just make sure that it's a place where you can feel chill, relaxed, comfortable, and inspired. And while you're at this retreat, some more helpful advice is set aside some time to write your personal mission statement and do the brainstorming activities there. We'll talk about some thought experiments that are really helpful, and you can do them on a retreat or the free writing exercises that we've already described. This is a perfect opportunity for you to reflect on your life, your values, and create a statement that will guide your actions in a constitutional way in your decisions going forward. The reason why the environment matters so much is because it's a source of inspiration for your mission statement, and likely the place that you'll choose to inspire you. You're doing that because it is appealing to your highest self. Another way to get this first draft of your mission statement out is to branch out and use non-verbal means or non-writing means. You can start making a conglomerate of ideas using apps like Pinterest. Another interesting way to branch out to get this first draft out is to think about animals. This one's kind of on its head. It's a strange one. It is very effective, especially if you're kind of a non-linear creative person. Think about which animals you like, and then what you like about these animals, and then take it a step further and think about what you like about these animals and why it symbolically might represent you. Because it's impossible for us to separate the things that we love and enjoy from who we actually are as people. And so if you can branch out and start getting to a deeper sense of who you want to be in the future, your vision and the values that you want to guide you there, then once you're in that place, think about, what do I love? And if that doesn't sound strange enough, the next one will sound even stranger, and Bjorn's gonna love this one. Cars. Chances are, if you like cars, you have a proclivity toward a specific type of car, and that in your preferences towards the specific type of car, some would go as far as to say that you love it or at least like it. In this fascination with it, what you're really doing is just projecting certain attributes that you yourself would love to embody. And that's the closest thing you might find to those attributes that you yourself either want to or do embody. Other ways to branch out, you can do 2D vision boards, you can do 3D vision boards, because the more dimensional you can make something, the more real it is. And the more you involve senses, the better as well. The whole point is to give you a conglomerate of things you could do and choose that most resonate with you to actually get started and to do this first draft of your mission statement. There is no one size fits all. And especially in this first draft, you should do the thing that's most enjoyable, fun, and pleasant for you. Of all of the things you could do in your life, the most meaningful ones should be the most enjoyable. And certainly, as we've already talked about, this is the epitome of beginning with the end in mind. It is formulating, and the process is just as valuable as the product. What I'm trying to do is get to the part that I'm actually most excited about, which is the thought experiments. We're going to use the term thought experiments, but what this really is what Covey calls right brain activities or right brain exercises. The purpose of the thought experiment is to open your mind, get creative about what your vision for the future is and the values that you want to get you there that will align with true principles. So these thought experiments, they go hand in hand with the first draft. And what they're meant to do is just kick you out of the left brain thinking or the fight or flight literal thinking and put you into a sense of the future where you can actually be creative and emotionally attached to what you want the outcome of your life to be. First thought experiment here. If you've read Think and Grow Rich, this one will be familiar to you. Wait for it, guys. This one is amazing. It's called Invisible Counselors. I mean, this is a slight twist on the idea of invisible counselors. So the Invisible Counselors is a thought experiment that can help guide your mission and the core governing principles you'll live by in order to get you there, your values. Here are the steps to use this thought experiment and use it wisely because it is very powerful. Step number 1, you choose a group of people that you admire. And although eventually you probably want to get it to one person, these people can be living, they can be dead, real, fictional, it does not matter. Who do you admire? Who are the people you admire most? What hero from history? Or who's your favorite novel character, or really anyone? As you pick them, you realize that these are the people that you admire and therefore are the people whose traits you desire to emulate for yourself. Because by nature of being human, we're what's called mimetic. So then what? What do you do after you pick your group of invisible counselors? You visualize meeting with them. Imagine the room you're in, pick your favorite place, the surroundings, the atmosphere. What does it feel like, look like, smell like? Envision yourself having a conversation with these people, your invisible counselors. What would you ask them? Start to observe the identity and the traits of each of the people you aspire for. Start to observe the people you admire and their identity. Notice traits that you like about them, little quirks or gimmicks that are endearing or admirable. What are they doing when no one's watching? What are their little quirks? Are they conversing with each other? What mannerisms do they have? What are they like? And then after that, what you do, you sit down with them and you ask them for advice. Once you have a clear image of this meeting in your mind and you're really immersed in it, ask your invisible counselors for advice. You ask this panel of invisible counselors for advice, all right? You pose questions to them about your vision and your future, who you want to become. What are the core governing principles that you need to live by in order to embody the certain traits from these people that you want to possess? Talk to them about which have been the principles that they lived by that you desire for yourself and the traits that you want to adopt from them. Listen carefully to their responses and write them down. And then after that, make sure you take action on their advice, right? That's the whole purpose of the mission statement, is to eventually use it as a governing tool to take action. So this is something that you can do, is like ask these invisible counselors in your mind's eye and your imagination what types of things they did to take action, to what were the blueprints that they followed step by step? How did they learn from failures in order to get to the traits that they actually possess that you're trying to download from them? So write down your thoughts, how it relates to your mission statement, your vision for the future, your future self, who you want to become and what's most important to you, how you want to live, and then work to apply those things with real wisdom in your life so that you can achieve that vision and actually bring it to pass, bring it about, all right? This is a fantastic way to help clarify your future self outcomes. It gives you a sense of purpose. It really infuses you with a mission. And when you choose people who you admire, inherently it's because the qualities that you desire to be transferred or downloaded to you, as Napoleon Hill describes. Identifying the people first is always really helpful. Then understanding the qualities that they have, you can write those down. That's how you know which qualities you yourself want to adopt and then really emulate over the course of your life. Okay, enough of that.